And we're live, yeah, we're going.
Okay.
So, welcome back
Yeah.
to the Green Dragon.
Oh, ready for it this week.
Absolutely ready for it.
So ready.
Yeah, it's been a week.
What a day
It's been a week
today.
So here we are, we're back again, making room notes.
Back in the dragon.
Yeah.
Back in the dragon.
It feels good.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a bottle of Buff. Got the rest of the bottle of Buff. We'll see how we go on with that.
Yeah.
I'll try not to finish it because it's a school night, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how that
We'll
goes.
see how that goes. Big ambitions. Nice pot of coffee on.
Yeah.
And what have you got in your hand there, bro?
So, I'm smoking tonight the Peterson's, is it Christmas pipe? The 2020 Christmas pipe. So
Interesting fitting.
Yeah, so it's the army mount. It's got like a brass ferrule band there, and so it's an army mount Cumberland stem, which I think is really nice. So it's got the feel of vulcanite. Yeah, but it can get a little bit fancy with the look, a bit more like acrylic. Yeah. So I do like a Cumberland stem, and I do appreciate the army mount because you can remove it while it's hot, and it's not a big deal. Yeah, and bit heavy, this pipe, and it's got a nice sized bowl in it. And the reason that I chose it is because I would like to have another go at the Semoir. Yeah. And because it's such a quick burner, I think a big bowl might be the right thing for it.
Right. And it's super dry as well, I guess. So it kind of that big bowl just helps with the heat regulation.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's a good shout.
Bro, what's a pirate's favourite baccy?
Go on.
Semoir.
Why the pirate, Harry?
Yeah, I had a little bandana on today, keeping the sun off the old bonds.
Don't take any crap for that. It looked good.
And I did take a little bit, but
no,
they were breaking my balls.
They're breaking my balls.
Oh.
I'm gonna go for a bit more of this this lovely fruit and nut Cajun cake.
Yeah, I might.
Cornell and Deal.
Have a little bit of that later.
Delicious, just delicious. And I've got to get this baby caked up, and it ain't gonna cake itself, and it's gonna take a lot of caking.
Well, I will say on the subject of cake, I smoked a few bowls of this Semoir. In the same pipe, which was my Savinelli Prince. Yeah. And I noticed that after like 4, maybe 5 bowls, it was laying cake right on the floor.
Like insta cake.
Yeah. And I think just because it's so dry, there's no moisture to kind of like loosen up the build of the cake. Yeah. And with this, lads, if you do get hold of some Semoir, I'm not even really thinking about unpacking it. I'm just stuffing it in. Yeah. I want a nice tight pack and a full bowl.
Because it's dry, right?
Because it's so dry and the flame rips through it. You need like a thick pack. Yeah. To slow down that flame. So that's what I'm going for. And we've got a few topics.
Yeah, I want to kind of cover a couple of things. So there's been. I want to share my losses as well. When I get things wrong and come up with ideas on how to put them right. Right. I think I've had one of those. I've had one of those moments this week. Okay. Where things have been going wrong, and all of a sudden, like I've worked out why it's going wrong and put it right. Excellent. So I'm gonna try and touch on that tonight.
We're gonna go back to Phil Leotardo's book. Yeah. Frankie Vincent's book.
Frank Vincent.
Duncan's in the chat.
Hi, Duncan. Good to see you, man.
Good evening, bro. Yeah, thanks for joining us. You smoking tonight? What you got on the pipe? And then we're gonna talk about a little something different as well. So, do you want to go with that little?
I will. So, tonight I'm smoking my my near up, big church warden. I'm trying to get it caked up, but I love a church warden. I like the long stem. I know this can be a little bit fiddly. I know there can be a bit of a pain with the cleaners and with handling it. But I love the aesthetic. We're not just the aesthetic. I like the nice long stem because it's cool. I like the big bowl on this because it keeps things sort of regulated. But I was getting a right load of dottle in this bowl. And when I say a load of dottle, I mean like I was having to really work the smoke. I was having to light. And when I was getting down to the bottom, when I say it was wet, I mean like it was pooling. Yeah. It was really, really wet.
That's a common thing with church wardens.
It is. But doubly so, I think, with this one, because this takes a 9mm balsa wood filter.
Right.
Which I hadn't been using.
Right.
Because I was being a bit of a purist about it and saying like, I'm not going to have a filter. No, I'm all about the purity of the smoke. And honestly, it made the smoke worse. It made the experience worse. So I picked up a pack of these Savinelli 9mm balsa wood filters. I'll just pop it out. So it basically just is a tiny little bit of profiled balsa wood. So light. Just slots in the end of the stem, into the mouthpiece. In it goes. And honestly, I didn't know I'd got it in. In terms of the actual draw, no difference.
Yeah.
In terms of the taste, no difference. But in terms of the moisture control, it was an absolute revelation. I did not have to swab this once. And when I finally finished the bowl for this, I was thinking like, well, kind of getting towards the end now. It's like you need to taste it. It's like, well, it's starting to taste a bit ashy. But there'll be a bit left in it. There always is a bit left in it. You always get that plug, don't you, at the bottom? I'll scrape it off and I'll try and get some more in. Scraped it off. There was nothing left. Smoked it straight to the bottom.
Interesting.
Dry. It was absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
I felt like such an idiot. One idiot for not putting it. So I immediately thought, right, okay, every church. So I've got another church warden. I've got a Falcon Corway, just a little cheapie, but a nice pipe. I'm not messing around now. It's filters all the way with this.
Nice. Just
completely changed the experience. Very, very low maintenance. Cool smoke, dry smoke. Very little relighting. Very little, even tamping. I didn't really have to tamp it that much either. Beyond the usual. Yeah. It was. It just made everything so much better. So that's my loss. My tale of woe come tale of joy.
I will say that because I've got a few Savinellis and they come with like filter as standard, either 9mm or 6mm.
Yeah.
And they usually send like one or two of the balsa filters.
Oh, do
it.
they?
Yeah, they do.
I didn't know that. Okay.
They do, yeah. And so
God bless them.
And so, like, I have tried it, and I found the same. It doesn't really affect the taste at all. There have been a couple of times where it has affected the draw. Don't know if you found that.
I didn't find that at all with this. But were they? Because we were talking about this earlier, and we think because they went out of stock for a little while, and you couldn't get them. Do you remember?
Yeah.
But it was the like triangular profile ones, which were solid, weren't they?
Yeah.
These aren't like that. They're round, but they've got 4 grooves cut in. Look a bit like a Ridge Crisp.
Yeah, yeah. So I've never tried one like that. But yeah, I will say that they are a good. They are good, and like you were saying, I mentioned this maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I
don't smoke my Savinellis with a filter, but I don't use the adapters. Did that come with an adapter, by the way?
It didn't.
No. I don't use the adapters either.
No.
And I'm finding that I prefer like a pipe like this that just doesn't take a filter.
Yeah, yeah.
But it could be that, maybe... How much did that pack of filters run you?
Oh, $5.
It might be worth looking into again.
Yeah. It was such an improvement for the experience.
Yeah.
It made such a big difference. I'll not go back. And you're absolutely right. And I love a pipe like my Blake Mars, no filter. They never take a filter. I think they have a couple that might take a filter because might make them to order. Range, yeah. But these don't. All of his top line ones don't take filters. The Exos, the Liquorier, and the
Aristocrats.
The Aristocrats, they don't take them. And to be honest, like I've never really, up until now, I've been like with you. I'm like, I'd rather just not bother.
Yeah.
But this has changed for ones that take a filter and you don't use them.
Yeah.
I think you're missing a trick. I was missing a trick.
Yeah, it might be something I have to look back on. I'll try again because, speaking of the whole moisture thing, I know we brought
some coffee, bro.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I know we brought it up a while back, but moisture is really kind of like where the flavour comes from.
Right.
And I think that when people notice a flavour in the bowl developing over time, my theory is that, among other things, it is the collection of moisture building up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed this, but when you're smoking and you get down to that last plug at the bottom, and you think it's a goner, but then it gets a second wind.
Yeah.
It gets like, you know, it doesn't last particularly long, but you do get a second wind out of that like really wet plug at the bottom, and the flavour is like concentrated flavour. And I think it's the same with a cigar. You know, like you light a cigar, and the first inch goes fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Then moisture starts to build up in the stick, and the burn slows down. That's when the flavours really develop. So, and I think it's the same thing with the pipe.
Yeah. And the weight, you know, because obviously you don't want to get it too wet, too moist, so you don't want to get steam and stuff and scald.
Exactly.
But by controlling your breath and your method and your cadence, you're keeping the burn effect down. You're keeping the bite risk down.
Yeah.
But you're keeping the flavour. Because when you dry a backy out, like we were talking about ages ago, lose the moisture, lose the flavour.
Yeah, 100%. We got a few in the chat. Duncan says that he's smoking some Elizabethan mixture.
Elizabethan mixture, yeah.
Right, not tried that yet. New tin, open first vapor. Very nice. Tell us what you think about that.
Do you know what I want with that?
Yeah.
I want, you know, we're on about a long clay church warning. I want that and Elizabethan mixture.
Yeah.
That's the deal. 16th century all the way.
Yeah, I think we should look into getting a clay church one.
Yeah.
That'd be a good little episode. Not expensive either. Anthony's in the chat. Good to see you, Anthony.
Good to see you, Anthony.
Cheers, fellas. What a surprise to see you this afternoon. Can't stand filtered pipes. Yeah, to be honest, I've never particularly been a fan of them. At least not using filters. But it might be something I'll look back. I'll go back to.
See, ordinarily, I'd agree. You know, I completely agree. But it's made such a big difference with this one.
Duncan says just open the tin, first vapor. Let us know what you think. I've been really on a vapor kick lately.
Yeah.
We got the DNR and we tried that.
That cabbage mixture.
Then the cabbage mixture you got from London.
Yeah, that was good.
That was nice. Yeah, I still got a little bit of that. Then the Cajun cake.
That's divine.
Yeah, the Cajun cake is so nice.
Great smoke.
I've been having a bowl a night since we got that. Then we're going to be coming into some whack-a-mole.
We've put an order in, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got a bit nuts. Put a haul.
Yeah, we did. Low Country's Lackamore. Low Country is
Cornell and Deal.
It's made by Cornell and Deal. Yeah. So that sounds like an interesting vapor with a bit of Orientals.
Yeah.
Then we've ordered 2 ounces of the Bayou Night, which I am really excited for.
I just love that it comes in ounces.
Yeah.
We should be using ounces.
Yeah, why aren't we using
We are out of Europe now. I want my ounces back.
And I hear that it's anywhere from 30% to 50% Perique, which sounds like an absolute banger. Yeah. Can't wait for that. With a bit of Burley and Latakia and the red Virginias, which is Cornell and Deal's proprietary red Virginias. And I don't even taste them in there, but they're so sweet.
Yeah, they're
so
great.
sweet.
Yeah, they're lovely.
Then the Exhausted Rooster, which is Virginias and Burley with dark fired Burley, and then a bit of Perique too, with a liqueur topping, which sounds bomb. Can't wait.
Yeah.
And Redburn, if PRA is in the chat, we got the Redburn.
Yeah.
On your recommendation.
Yeah. So it better be good.
Yeah. Anthony says, remember to hit that like button. Smash that like button, lads. Thank you, brother. Anthony, by the way, hope you're enjoying your holiday. Yeah. Hope you're having a good time, brother. Duncan says, enjoying it, but to be honest, missed the Latakia in English, but trying to broaden my palate. Yeah. I was, at first, like when I was first smoking a pipe, I was all about the English. And I moved into Burleys quite heavily. And I'm still loving my Burleys, but now I'm enjoying vapors a lot. And I think you're right. It's just about broadening your palate. Maybe it's not for you, but...
Because I kept saying to you, like, I can't taste Burley in it. I can't taste it. I can't taste it. And it was only when it must have been, I think it might have been the Louisiana Flake. It was one particular blend that you were smoking. I'm like, oh yeah, I can smell it. Never mind taste it. I can smell it. As you were smelling, I was getting the room note off it. And like, oh yeah, bro, that's the
Perique.
It was pretty much in Perique, but there was one particular blend that said, oh, I just can't taste it. Like, no, you pick a blend, get a blend, got plenty of Burley in, and try it. See if you can dial in your palate.
Yeah.
And I ended up with a 3 Ps.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've been like all about the Burley.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
So easy to smoke, like so gentle, like really, really easy, very forgiving blend.
Yeah. And I'm really thinking about getting some like cube cut burley.
Yeah.
Just as like an everyday kind of smoke, or
because the Samoa's it's a variety of burley though, isn't it? It's not. It's their version, not their version, but it's like their.
Well, I think their like claim to fame, their like uniqueness to the blend is and I can never pronounce this properly. Terroir.
Terroir, yeah.
Terroir, basically like the soil it's grown in. So they say that they have, in the Ardennes Valley, the special soil. That's their claim to fame.
Yeah.
Anthony says, love them English blends. Peterson, my mixture or nightcap. Agreed.
I had some nightcap last night.
Yeah.
What a blend.
The nightcap is sensational. It does bring a curse on you and your family if you smoke it before the sun goes down.
Them's the rules. We don't make the rules. We don't make the rules.
But it is delicious. Yeah. And I don't know if I'm just like a sucker for marketing, but I do think it really complements the nighttime.
Yeah, it does.
It's got that quite heavy Latakia hit. Then it's got the real nice touch of Perique that's not like... It's really not forefront, but it is noticeable. And then the Orientals... It's just quite magical. And the my mixture, I really love it. It's got that kind of like drifts in and out between being quite Latakia heavy, but also then a lot of sweetness from the Macedonian Bright and the Brown Cavendish, which I think is really, primo.
Just going back to the point that Duncan made about the Latakia and English blends. So I picked up ages ago, I just got a pouch of Latakia. I was thinking, well, I might use it for blending with stuff. And I've done that in the past, and for a particular blend that I was really into. But I wanted that, bit of a Latakia kick on it. Like, I got might have been some tumbleweed, might have been Nordic tumbleweed, and which I love, like, a great smoke, but it's quite sweet, black Cavendish, not overly sweet, but nice. But I just missed a bit of a Latakia. I just put a bit in, mixed a little bit in, blended it, and away I went, and it set it off.
Yeah, interesting. I did the same with Perique, like quite early on. I bought just like a blending pack of pure Perique. I ended up mixing that with like some of the straight Virginias, like Dark Bird's Eye, and that turned out really nice. And that really got me onto Perique. It wasn't until a bit later when I tried some of the like Lowther Street.
Yeah.
That I picked up in Whitby that I really got into it. Duncan says, have a nice glass of Cardew Gold Reserve malt tonight with the pipe.
Yeah.
Nice. Sounds good.
I had some port with mine last night.
Very
port
nice.
and a nightcap. Just, oh man.
24. That's where it is.
20. Yeah.
Anthony says, working through a tin of C&D haunted bookshop and still on the fence, getting better. Now, Anthony, I don't know if you can give us the rundown on that, but I hear a lot of buzz about haunted bookshop. Seems to be that people really enjoy it or people really hate it.
Yeah.
And the common criticism that I hear is that it tastes like cigarettes. That's what they say. It's a Virginia and Burley with a touch of Perique in there. Now, I think it might be one that we get on the next order. Yeah. Because it's got a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah.
And I just think we owe it to ourselves to...
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do one for the team.
So, roll the dice on a tin. George R. says, afternoon, guys. Watch the reruns of last week. Thank you, brother. Thank you for joining us. George says, Semoir isn't troop tobacco, guys. Caporal Rouge is. Oh, okay. My mistake. Thank you for correcting us on that. And he says he got a Zippo. My God, they're good. Can only get a few hours use out of it before it dies out there, sadly. Yeah. The other thing about them is they, if you're not using them regularly, they do evaporate, don't they?
Yeah, they bleed. They bleed the fuel a bit.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that you can do with that. So you can get rubber gaskets to replace the felt pad underneath.
Right.
You can get those. I don't know how good they are. I've heard varying opinions on it, but they're available. And the other thing as well to do is don't be tempted to overfill it to compensate for loss.
Right. Yeah. I think maybe I'll do that.
Better to just keep a couple of tins of fluid handy. Yeah. And I've got I've not got it handy, but I'll show it maybe for next time, or I'll put a link in the description or something. I've got an aluminium canister that Zippo sell, which holds roughly 2 fluid ounces of fuel, which is enough to fill it twice, I think. I can't remember exactly how many fluid ounces, but it's enough to fill it twice. Plus, there's a little holder for a flint and a clip and a little tool for undoing the little nozzle on the fluid and the grub screw for the for the flint.
Yeah.
And it was like a tenner, something like that. I'm sure you can get them a lot cheaper in America, but it's just so handy. I put it in my bag. I put a spare key on it as well because I'm always out and about. And if I've forgot my keys, I can just take it out of my bag and undo the door. But they're great. Man, that was really, really helpful. That's worth keeping hold of as well.
Sounds like a decent purchase.
It was a good shout.
Yeah. But yeah, George, so I did get hold of some of the Semoir. It's the Tabac de Manille Semoir Reserve de Patron. And I gotta say I'm enjoying it. At first smoke I found it a little bit bitter. But I think as my palate is acclimatizing to it, that bitter note is kind of going away. And it's just like a nut bomb.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like smoking a Snickers bar.
Yeah.
Because it's got a lot of nuts.
Yeah.
And also chocolate, which is really nice. I think it's a good sort of like everyday pipe and coffee.
This Cajun
kind of
cake
smoke.
is just out of this world.
Cajun cake.
So
we'll have to get more.
Yeah.
Duncan said, interesting you mentioned Burley Blend. None in my cellar, but been thinking about getting some UK available. Do you have any recommendations? Yes, we do.
3Ps for me is a gateway.
Yeah.
I know it's not like a purist Burley.
I think it is.
You love a best brown, don't you? Which is I think has got a lot of Burley in.
Yeah.
But 3Ps for me. Reasons why it got me into Burley. There's plenty of Burley taste in there. There's a couple of other. I think it's got some Virginia as well in there, hasn't it? And some.
It's just Virginia and Burley, yeah.
But it's really densely packed, and because of that, it keeps really well.
Yeah. So it comes in. So the Peterson's Perfect Plug, otherwise known as 3Ps, is a good one, Duncan. It's really dark, chocolatey, malty flavors. It's got like a syrup.
Any time of day.
Yeah. Sugary kind of casing.
Yeah.
Very sweet, and that's a delicious one. The other one I would say is Gaworth Hogarth's Best Brown Flake. Not the Samuel Gaworth, because that's a straight Virginia, but Gaworth Hogarth's Best Brown Flake.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Also, you can get the number 2, which has a bit of a sugary casing. If you like that, it's kind of fruity and sugary. That's another nice one. And a couple of others I would say, if you can get the Gaworth Hogarth Jamaican Flake.
Yeah, that's great.
Jamaican Flake is lovely. I will say the last batch that I ordered tasted a bit like licoricey when it had never done before, and I don't know if that was a bad batch.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
I haven't tried it recently.
Yeah, I had one last batch I had was really good. Yeah.
Let's
try that.
So yeah,
it was the old rum flake, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. It used to be called rum flake. When the government says you can't name anything that's got a food kind of name in it, in case you try and eat the tobacco.
Not in a weird way.
Yes.
They're not weird.
There was a lot of trouble back a few years ago where people were eating tobacco, and the government had to step in. So,
thank God for our glorious benefactors, our benevolent government. God bless you.
So, and the other one is, and it's cased, and it's topped, I should say, and it's got Latakia in it, but the Bob's Chocolate Flake.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that is an interesting smoke, and it's not for everyone, but personally I enjoy it, and it is quite burley forward. Then you've got Amphora, which is quite chocolatey burley. So there'll be some good ones to look at, man. Also, Eric Stockaby. The Eric Stockaby 1943, I believe it is, comes in like a light blue tin.
Yeah.
Check that out. That is a very simple, straightforward but charming burley. It's got like a honey casing, really lovely. George says he's worried the fluid isn't getting to the whole wick and absorbed by all the cotton. Would you make a video on it? Yeah, we'll make.
Yeah, I will. I've had a problem with this lately. So I had what I think was a defective. Well, I don't know whether it's defective or it's just gone a bit wacky. But on my other Zippo, my non-pipe insert Zippo, I don't think it was drawing the fluid through properly, and I've tried several different wicks. I've tried clearing the little aperture between the chimney and where the felt gets pushed in, the fuel felt, and that wasn't working either. So I think at that point I could have just taken it in and got it sorted.
Yeah,
because they're lifetime warranted.
Yeah, that's something to remember, George. They do have a lifetime warranty.
Yeah,
so
any issues, just go take it back. But yeah, there are reasons why that happens. I don't know why mine did that, but I'll try and find out, and we'll maybe hit that up on the next one.
Well, that's a good idea, George. That isn't a good idea for a video.
Yeah.
Because I think we're both aware we don't want to be too reliant on just putting out live streams.
Yeah.
We do want to make some more content, some like shorter form videos, educational videos, stuff like that. So that is something we'll have to do. And George said you mentioned the dryness of a bit. That's normal. He's talking about the Semois. Caporal Rouge and Caporal Bleu. In fact, any French tobacco comes super dry. They're all generally very burley forward. Yeah, and in a lot of ways it's nice because it just lights really easily. If you're not looking to be sat down for hours, you can enjoy a full bowl and it's good for that.
Yeah.
But I'm knocked away by the flavour, frankly. I really find myself craving it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good stuff, man. And
thanks for the tip.
yeah, thanks for the tip. And might try and get our hands on the old tobacco.
Well, you're going
troop.
soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be in Normandy. So, and I think we're maybe planning a day trip to Old Paris. So, we'll see. We'll see if I. Yeah. Grandpa Joel's in the house.
All right.
Good afternoon, man. 95 degrees. Woo. In Arizona.
Oh yeah.
My wife and I are enjoying your chat. Thank you, brother. Thank you for joining. Hi, Lady Fire. No, it's not Lady Fire. Lady Fire is Flat Cat Piper's wife. Sorry, brother. Thank you for joining us both.
Arizona. That was that's Sean Atwood's. That's where he was.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I always think of Breaking Bad when I think about Arizona.
Yeah. Sheriff Joe Arpaio's massive mega jail was where he was put in.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sean Atwood, good channel.
Great channel.
If you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Talks about his prison experience.
Had Jay on recently, didn't he?
He did. He's had Jay on quite a bit. Yeah. Jay Dyer, another good one.
Everybody just kept saying he kept coughing.
Really? Jay Dyer, I mean, God knows I love him. I love him to death, but he's a big coffee drinking, lip smacking, right into the mic kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I love Jay. I love Jay to death.
It's that time, bro. I'm cracking the
pop it.
Pulling the trigger.
Duncan says, cheers, guys, for the recommendations. Looks like I'm tobacco shopping later. Yeah.
Right.
We're all constantly tobacco shopping.
Yeah. When are we not? Yeah.
We're either thank you, man. We're either buying tobacco or we're thinking about buying tobacco.
Or smoking tobacco.
Or smoking tobacco, yeah. Anthony says to Grandpa Joel, cheers. 90 right now in Las Vegas. It's been warm here.
Yeah.
What's 90 Fahrenheit?
That's like upper 30s, isn't it?
Is it? Yikes. Yeah. Not been that here. I think it's been like peak 20.
Yeah, but I can't say it for Susan purposes, but we're not cut out for that temperature here.
No. We're not.
We're northerners. So we're mountain men.
Yeah. We're mountain folk, and we don't respond well to the heat.
Woodlanders, Shire folk.
Yeah.
Cheers, bro. Good help.
Yeah, I salute.
For God and for England, St George.
Cry God for Harry, England, and St George.
St George. Oh, that's magic.
Anthony says picked up a few grams, 50 grams of PS 52 proper English, and it's good. That's Peter Stockerby.
Ah, okay.
Interesting. I've been looking at.
I love his nougat.
Yeah, I've been looking at the Stockerby.
That sounded a bit weird.
I love that man's nougat. You should never say that you love a
man's. Not in a weird way. It's not weird.
I've been looking at the PS luxury bullseye flake.
Okay.
And the there's another one that I was quite interested in, so I might have to take a look at those again. George says how to fill it, not what to do, what not to do, fuel evaporation, cotton pack method, that kind of thing. And he says you're welcome for the recommendation. Good, you're enjoying the blend. And he said to me, La Pipe du Nord tobacconist must go there. Okay, yeah, I remember you saying that last time, the old Northern Pipe. So
yeah,
absolutely, I will make a trip out there.
In Paris.
Is that in Paris, brother? Anthony says, who isn't tobacco shopping or talking about tobacco? And he says, yeah, 90...
Not Pipers, that's who, Anthony.
And he says, 95 Fahrenheit is about 35 centigrade. Yikes.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That's... At that point, I'm sleeping in the bath.
Yeah, I cannot deal with that kind of heat. I remember last summer, it was getting to 40 centigrade over here. You remember that?
Oh man, we were melting.
Yeah.
That was not pleasant.
That was vicious.
Yeah. Thing is as well, like, everything in this country is set up for like not dealing with heat. our roads melt.
Right, yeah.
Our railways melt. Our phone lines melt.
Our people melt.
Our brains melt. Right? I've got brain fluid coming out of my ears here, right? So it's not set up for it. Like, you go out there and like everything's just set up for it.
That's the thing.
Concrete roads, well-built buildings.
We're not set up for like the extremes of heat. Every time like a little bit of snow falls, we're not set up for...
We're not set up for that either.
We're not, yeah.
What are we set up for? Drizzle.
Yeah.
7 degrees drizzle.
Yeah, that's what we're set
all
up
year
for.
round.
And George says, yes, La Pipe du Nord is in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll be making a trip to... Do you know, George, I heard that there was a... because I bought a pipe from this site, and there is a saying in French which is au nom de pipe, in the name of the pipe. And it's like an expression, like you say. I guess it's like, you know, to be observant and to not, you know, not like use the Lord's name in vain. You say like in the name of the pipe.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I wonder do people still say that, or is I imagine that's like an oldie. That's like an oldie saying.
Yeah, see if you can pick some up.
Yeah, for sure. I'll yeah, the old rouge.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the rouge, the red, and the blue, George? Anthony says 40 centigrade for us here in Nevada and Arizona is on its way for months. Ooh. Yikes.
Oh no.
Yikes.
No.
No, couldn't do that.
No, not without a pool. That's kind of a deal breaker.
Pool and AC.
Yeah. Them's the rules.
So, shall we do a little
Frankie?
Yeah, we could do a little Frankie. I thought like we'll do a little stick talk first because you've had some good experiences lately.
Man. So between this week and last week, so I, being a complete noob, asked Harry, look, you've done loads of stuff with cigars. You know your stuff with cigars. I've had a couple. I picked up on the trip to Cuba. I picked up a box of Cohiba Esplendidos. Loved them. I worked out why I loved them when I found out how much they actually cost.
Yeah.
I can tell you I didn't pay that much. But they were great. So, but I know that I can't just be smoking like Esplendidos every time I want a cigar. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So I thought, well, I want to open my palate up a little bit anyway. I've heard good things about the New World cigars, but don't really know a lot about them. You've smoked quite a lot of New Worlds and you know your stuff with them. We are very lucky that we've got a really good wine merchant with a great selection of cigars, both New World and old, haven't we? And staff are great, staff are really friendly, staff are really helpful. But I didn't want to go in completely uninitiated. So I asked you about a little bit, you know, what am I looking for? You know, size, what am I looking for in terms of wrapper and construction and that kind of stuff. What's the difference between them? And you went through that with me. That was really good and really helpful. Went in, had a look at what they got. Asked the guy that was working in there. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was really, really helpful. This is Mitchell's in Sheffield in England, and they were great. I mean, already their selection of booze is just next level. You know, they get loads of different types
fantastic.
Of bourbon, champagne,
all the Scotch, wines from all over the world,
they're
brandies and mead.
It's one of these funny little shops, craft ale, and it's one of these funny little shops that like it doesn't really look much from outside, but it just goes back and back and back and back. It's like Mary Poppins handbag, right? There's all sorts in there. Great selection of cigars, as I said, and so I got one of the guys and said, "Look, can you talk me through it? I've had cigars before. I'm more of a pipe smoker. Can you just kind of talk me through the difference?" So what's the difference between... You made a couple of recommendations for me, the Hoya de Nicaragua and the
AJ
Fernandez Dorado. And I'd also seen the Oscar Valladares.
Well, we had a couple of Oscar Valladares.
We did.
On your birthday.
That's right.
And they were really good.
They were amazing.
Really good.
So I asked him what's kind of the difference between them, and he kind of went through it all, and it was really methodical. Yeah. Come on, I'm not even touched that. Maybe that'll loosen my tongue. But without being condescending or fussy or snooty or stuffy or stuck up, wasn't like that at all. It was really helpful, and because of that, he taught me into buying two. So I couldn't make a decision between the Hoya and the AJ, so I ended up getting them both. And the AJ was just an absolute delight. If it like, I can't believe it's not Cuban. It was just so such a lovely cumulative, all that that honey, sweet, bright flavour.
Yeah.
But I kept looking at that Hoya thinking like, oh, I like the idea of those two wrappers.
Yeah.
That Maduro end, that last third.
So the Hoya de Nicaragua Cabineta is it's a Toro, and the first 2 inches are a Connecticut wrapper.
Yeah.
And the last third is a Maduro. I think it's San Andres Maduro.
San Andres, yeah.
And yeah, it's one of my. It's one that I like.
So good for the money.
Yeah.
It's absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you explained to me. Oh, you said, oh, you might need a punch for that one, not a snipper.
Right.
Because it's a box.
It was box pressed.
Box pressed.
Yeah.
So I've not heard of that. So what's the difference between that and a sort of rounded construction? So you went through that with me. So it felt like a really good, positive learning experience.
Yeah.
Watched an episode or two of The Sopranos. I'm like, I need more sticks.
Yeah.
So that has absolutely kicked me off now.
Every time the credits are rolling and he's going through the New Jersey Turnpike and then he lights up that like,
oh, have I got time for a stick?
Yeah. So I've been really enjoying a lot of AJ Fernandez lately, and also some of the Arturo Fuentes short story Hemingway.
Yeah,
it's a lovely smoke. Hoyas are good. So let's have a look at the comments. So George says, nom d'un pipe, that's it, or nom d'un pipe en bois is like a curse. No, very old, not used nowadays. So it's like, okay, it's like an expression of, distaste, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I figured it would probably be like an old-fashioned kind of a saying. How polite is it, by the way, George? Is it like rude to say that, or is it kind of like mild to say that? Anthony says, we all have aircon here. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
George says also, casser sa pipe, to break one's pipe, is to pass away. During the wars, before the days of morphine, the person who was being operated on would be given high-grade alcohol and a pipe to bite down on. When the pipe fell, i.e. wasn't being gripped by the patient, it's a sign he'd passed on to the celestial kingdom. Yeah. Lovely language.
Yeah, man.
I love that phrase.
Yeah.
Hence the phrase casser sa pipe.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
Not come across that at all.
Right, so yeah, we were going to move on to Frankie Vincent's chapter on the cigars.
Yeah.
Now,
how to be a man? How to be a man's man.
It's from A Guy's Guide to Being a Man's Man.
Yeah.
And it's his chapter on the cigar. Now, I think it is... we should keep in mind that it's written a little bit tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
So to start off...
Nobody's calling anybody out here.
Right. No, we're not breaking any balls today. So, he says that they call cigars the smoke of kings.
Yeah.
Possibly a controversial statement on this channel. Because we're pipe guys. But, certainly...
Italians? I'm just quite surprised at that. Them being... Italian Americans, I guess. But still, Savinelli, pipe makers.
Yeah, true. Like we said before, there does seem to be like...
It's just the working man's
smoke. I think the pipe is more of a...
blue-collar guy.
It's more of a blue-collar guy's smoke, for sure. It's more affordable. I think there is like... We said it before, but the pipe has got more of like an old-timey kind of aesthetic to it. But people will recognise a cigar as I don't know, a bit classier, a bit more like white collar, I guess. From the $5,000 humidor that sits on your desk, the $1,000 lighter to keep in your pocket, to your $200 cutter, cigars are a true lifestyle. There's nothing like when a man opens his humidor, looks at his selection, and picks his smoke. After that, he cuts it, sits back, and enjoys the cigar. That's the most important step. Whether he's by himself after dinner, in his backyard with his friends, or with his scotch at a fancy cigar lounge. I think we can relate to that. We've spoken about that before. A lot of the fun of pipe smoking is to, open the old cupboard, see what's in the jars.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
the ritual, right?
Exactly. It's all the ritual element, and then it's whether, am I going to head over to Dion's to enjoy pipe together? Is it going to be a solitary smoke? Both equally enjoyable in their own ways. So, I think we can relate to that. He says, as a musician, you hear that music is a universal language.
Now, I'm just going to jump in there.
Yeah.
I didn't realise until lately, but I'm pretty sure that Frank Vincent was a drummer.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, and he also used to do stand-up with Joe Pesci.
Is that right?
Stand-up. They had a show. Him and Joe Pesci had a show, which is why I can't wait for you to see Goodfellas, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
And Casino, because them two together, man, like, it's just absolute magic.
Yeah.
The spark between them, they're absolute legends. Yeah.
But he goes on to say that he believes that smoking, cigars, are more of a universal language. He says it doesn't matter what kind of a man you are, where you come from, what you do. A bunch of men can get together, light up a couple of sticks, and just be on the level.
Man, 100%.
Which I think that's absolutely true. Particularly in, obviously he's American, he's writing in the US, where, cigar, tobacco tax is a lot saner.
Yeah.
I think that will probably ring true. Everyone can afford a stick, might not be smoking Cubans, might not be smoking the premium stuff, but everyone
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. As long as you're together in good company, in a good setting, with a nice stick, albeit a nice pipe and a good bowl of tobacco. That is the unifier. And we said that before.
Yeah, it's the leveler.
It's the leveler.
Yeah.
It's what brings us together.
I will say as well about the enjoyment of it. So Frank's here is talking about the enjoyment of smoking. Like, how many people when you see like wandering around with like a vape stick shoved in the mouth,
right.
or like they've got a packet of cigs and they're like smoke. It's like get it over quick. Like the jonesing for it, got shakes, twitchy, edgy.
Yeah, it's a nicotine delivery system.
Yeah, like I don't see much in the way of enjoyment. And I've spoken to people about and said, "Oh, smokes like like Marlboros and stuff, like the more flavourful cigs." Like, oh no, they're way too strong. It's like, well, yeah, but wouldn't you have something that you enjoy the flavour? It's like, well, no, I just want cheap cigs. It's just a way of getting a fix. I think that's a real shame. It completely, for me at least, completely misses the point of a smoke.
Yeah, for me, I agree with that too, and I think that speaks to the fact that for people that consume their tobacco like that, it is just about nicotine delivery.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie and say that I don't enjoy nicotine. I do enjoy nicotine, but the fact is that
there's a how though, isn't there?
There is a how to it, and I think like the reason that I know I'm not addicted is because if time and situation doesn't allow for it, I can easily go days without.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I won't miss it,
yeah.
but I could go days without smoking a pipe.
Yeah, without rattling.
Exactly,
yeah.
But when the time is right, I will go back to enjoying that for sure.
Yeah. I wonder as well, just going back to the cigs, is that a to quote a Canadian doctor who has or hasn't been described as Kermit the Frog, but who's had his moments? I think I like some of his stuff, and it's expeditious, not necessarily meaningful.
Right. Yeah. So that's one of his rules.
Yeah.
Do what is meaningful, not what is expedient.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that applies to this absolutely. He goes on to say that many men throughout history have been noted cigar smokers. General Ulysses S. Grant was probably the biggest cigar smoker ever. Grant, of course, went on to become president for 2 terms, and he was the most photographed person in the 19th century, known to smoke up to 15 cigars a day.
Whoa.
Yikes. And he goes on to talk about some more Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky?
Michael Jordan. Yeah.
Big cigar fan.
Yeah.
Special one called.
Right, yeah. Michael Jordan enjoyed one. Mark Twain, of course.
Mark
also
Twain.
liked his corn cobs.
Yeah.
And Ziggy Freud puffed on many back in the day. Not a huge fan of Ziggy Freud. He had his points. He had his moments. But I'm more of a Jungian, I would say.
Yeah.
But even then, even Jung had some wacky things to say.
He did smoke a pipe.
He did smoke a pipe.
He gets a pass.
Yeah. Now, not every man enjoys a cigar. Some do and some don't. Personally, Frankie always loved them. When he was growing up, his grandfather and his father smoked cigars. Yeah, and I wonder how many of us have had personally, I didn't have a father or grandfather who smoked a pipe. But I did have like a kind of paternal figure in my life who did smoke a pipe. It was Falcon, spoken about him a little bit before. And I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Yeah, maybe. Mine was my great granddad.
Yeah.
My granddad also did smoke a pipe, but it was before I was born.
Right.
And he went over to cigs. But again, just for expediency. But my great granddad used to sit in the corner in the farm.
Yeah.
Light up, cup of tea, honey, pack his bowl full of Condor and blast away.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And he said that a cigar definitely helps to add to your man's man character image.
Yeah, for sure.
But only if you know how to smoke one correctly. A man's man can spot a rookie cigar smoker in a crowded room any night of the week. So make sure you don't stand out for the wrong reasons. Nothing's more embarrassing than having your friends, or more important, some hot exotic dancer, laughing in your face. If you want to look the man's man, you have to learn to be that part, from selecting to cutting to lighting.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's true, and
which is why I didn't want to look like like a bit of a tour when I went in to go and fetch one. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
But I know you said before in media, like films and stuff, if there's a character smoking a pipe, you can usually tell.
You can spot them as does and them as doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, one image that comes to my mind is, Leo in Django.
Yeah.
There's like this promo image where he's got this lovely Butch Chukan sort of like 3/4 church warden.
Yeah.
And he's clenching it, and every time I look at it, I cringe. I'm like, bro, don't clench that.
What are you doing?
Don't clench that.
What are you doing?
Let's catch up on the chat, and then we'll go back to it. George says, no, it's quite mild. It would be comical if used nowadays. Yeah. So I kind of get that. We've got a few expressions that be like that. Mushroom Leg says, oh, hell no, I made it to a live stream. Yes, you did, brother. Thank you for joining us. Mushroom Leg says, greetings from Cleveland, Ohio.
Right, okay.
Greetings, brother. Thank you.
Midwest, good.
Just wanted to say I love you too. Thank you, brother.
God bless.
I always enjoy your comments too. Smoking Sunbear Mountain Flower in my Eldritch. Very nice. Now, that is a blend that I would love to try. That's a little small batch from Cornell and Deal. I believe it's flavoured with agave tequila.
Oh.
Correct me on that if I'm wrong, Shroom. And the Eldritch pipes. We were talking about the Eldritch pipes. I love the look of them.
Yeah.
I think he's a British pipe maker. He's an English pipe maker. And whenever I look on sites that list Eldritch pipes, they're generally sold out. But they look so interesting. And I'm a fan of Lovecraft.
Yeah.
I like Lovecraft. Read a lot of Lovecraft back in the day. Still do occasionally. So yeah, that'd be one. I'd love to get my hands on an Eldritch.
If smoking pipes do...
I haven't seen them list Eldritch. I've gone through. They've got Smoking Pipes has got a lot of artisan pipe makers running like 5 figures sometimes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Sorry, 4 figures I should say, not 5 figures. 4.
No.
Yeah, 4 figures. But yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the most I've ever spent on a pipe is 3 figures. And it was just breaking 100.
Yeah.
It was my Chacon mortar, which is a gorgeous pipe. I love the look of mortar. I love the shape of it. I love the stem.
Yeah.
But I don't know if any of you guys in the chat have smoked a mortar before, but I don't know. For me, it just seems to rain on any blend. It just seems to dampen everything down.
Yeah.
And there's a very distinct... It's supposed to be a very clean clay meerschaum kind of a smoke, but for me, I don't know, it adds something.
You said it changed the blends, didn't you? Blends that you knew and would swear by tasted different.
Just dull.
Just
kind of
like
a grey filter over them.
Yeah.
Matt... yeah, please, dude. Matt of Poland is in the chat. Hey guys, just made it in. Yeah, thank you for joining us, brother. How's things over in Poland? What are you smoking? Let us know. So, to go back to Frankie, what to smoke. So 40 years ago, cigars were considered an elitist thing, but that was back before the cigar boom. Now they're accessible to anyone. And I think that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I can enjoy a couple of really nice cigars a week, and maybe like something in a smaller vitola every day if I fancy. So that back in the day, they were only for men who could afford them, while today, everybody can. There's a price range for everybody. If you can't afford to smoke a $50 cigar, you can still smoke a premium $5 cigar and enjoy and appreciate the experience the same.
You see, for what they will pay $50 for a cigar in the US, we're paying like probably 80, 90 quid, aren't we?
Yeah, probably 3 figures. Yeah. Absolutely. But obviously since the embargo, Americans couldn't get the Cubans. I don't know if that's changed somewhat, but I do think that they're not commonplace.
Yeah.
It's not. In a man's cigar world, it's about what you're comfortable with. Absolutely, and we say that all the time. About pipes. It's all about enjoying what you're smoking, like what you smoke, and smoke what you like.
That's it. And what does for some doesn't for others.
Exactly.
Takes all sorts to make a world.
Absolutely. Discretion is key when figuring out what cigar to smoke and which cigar is right for you. You need to select the appropriate cigar for the amount of time that you have. That's something to consider.
True.
Yeah, because there's no good busting out like a Grand Toro. If you got appointments later, you got stuff to do. Especially like one disadvantage that cigar has over a pipe is that a lit cigar will go stale.
That's it. You're done.
It's definitely once that cigar extinguishes, there's a timer on, and it's not very long.
Yeah.
It's not the same. A man's man will never save a half-smoked cigar. Why? Basically, a chemical reaction happens when you smoke in a cigar. If you light it, put it out, and then relight later, it will never smoke or taste the same. Yeah. Exactly what we said.
Yeah. But pipe's not the same.
But pipe isn't the same.
You can light that baby the next day, and it's at least as good. And in some cases, it does something nice.
Often better. It's like pizza.
Yeah.
I've smoked I've come back to bowls that have been sat there for as much as a week sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's still good. If you do relight your cigar, you're not smoking the cigar the way the professional blender intended you to smoke it.
That's true.
Let me put it this way. If you were making love with a beautiful woman and stopped in the middle of the throes of passion to go to a 7-Eleven and get a big
come
one.
on, Frankie. We've all done it. Come on, don't be that guy.
And then half an hour tried to make love again. Would you expect it to be as good? No, you would not. That's a good point.
I can't make comments on this because of Susan, but but there's ways around that. But no, I get the point. I get the point.
When you're selecting a cigar, there are some important things to consider, and size is certainly one of them. A man's man will select the right ring gauge for him. Now, ring gauge in a cigar is measured in 64ths of an inch.
Yeah.
So if you've got a 32 ring gauge, it's half an inch of a cigar. Let me explain. If you are 4'9", 120 pounds, a 50 ring gauge and 7.5 inch cigar is probably not the right cigar for you aesthetically. If you truly enjoys a large cigar, a man's man won't give a darn and will smoke it anyway, but you simply don't feel comfortable with a 7.5 inch cigar. You're more of a man's man for selecting the right cigar for you.
Again, it just comes back to it, doesn't it? About it's not about what other people think about it. It's your experience. It's your smoke. It's all about what does it for you.
Yeah, and I will admit that's early on smoking a pipe. After getting introduced to some of the twists and some of the darker flakes, I thought that it was I really should be smoking these big hitters all the time. That's what you do. But nah, that's not the case. Doesn't matter how mild a blend is or whatever, whether you're feeling like a Cavendish aromatic, there's no medals for this. We're not out to impress anybody. No. You just got to smoke what you're enjoying, and that's it.
100%. I think a lot of that does translate quite well from cigars to pipes.
Absolutely, yeah. Same with the actual pipe itself. It doesn't matter if it's a corn cob, Missouri Meerschaum, Falcon, or a Briar. You don't have to spend a lot of money on a Briar to have a good smoke.
No, not at all.
I know I've got pipes.
You got a little Czech one, haven't you?
I've got that little Czech one.
Last time I thought, what a lovely little pipe that is.
That's a really nice little smoke. That's a nice little 10-minute smoke.
Yeah.
I have pipes that I pay a lot less for that smoke a lot better than the ones that I've spent more money on, for sure.
Bro, just thinking now, I wonder, just in terms of, I remember we were saying that you couldn't get Baki in Poland very easily.
Yeah, man.
I wonder about a nip over the border.
To
Czech Republic.
To Czechia,
yeah.
Poland's got a German border, right?
Yes.
I know
Germany. And so is Czech. Oh, yeah.
Germany is a little bit better with the old. Yeah. So maybe that's a call.
Denmark, a little trip over the sea.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's a thought, Matt. He said, Matt says he's just finished work, so won't be smoking today, sadly. That's a shame, but thank you for joining us anyway. He said his favourite cigar was a Bella Mundo, which is AJ Fernandez, I believe, and that costs £12.
That's good, isn't it?
It's decent. It's decent.
That's good.
I guess depending on what sort of like Vitola we're talking about there, but that's decent.
When I paid 13 for that Hoya,
Right.
honestly, in its own way, I enjoyed it as much as I did the Dorado because I know how much it cost.
Right,
It was like an amazing smoke for the money.
Right is a point. I've got these little San Andres sticks. They're about, I'd say like a Panatella kind of Vitola, and look, they're not the best cigar in the world, but they do have that lovely chocolatey San Andres flavour. And when I remind myself what I paid for them, probably like under £2 a stick. That's unbelievable. Just increases the level of enjoyment
for sure.
George says, "What are we smoking, by the way?" I've got the Semoir Tabac de Manil on, the Reserve du Patron, and you've got the
Cajun cake. And do you know what? Like, it's going down so well. I am getting a little bit of moisture actually tonight, interestingly, but it's the second smoke I've had through this filter. But it's still a lot better. It's a heck of a lot better.
I find it can get a bit, a little bit bayou towards the bottom, a little bit swampy.
It's good,
but it is a lovely smoke. It's just.
But you smell it and it smells cased. It smells like very cased, and it smells like almost like kind of aromatic. But when you smoke it, it doesn't taste that much like an aromatic.
I think
it's a very interesting smoke. That
I think that just is the Perique.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I know that pretty much all pipe tobaccos are cased to some degree, but I do believe that is just the funk of the Perique.
Yeah.
George says, agreed. It's all about the experience, the place, the pipe, the cut, the weather, who you're with. It's a very personal experience, all about the flavour and enjoyment. Absolutely. 100%. And all of those factors can have an effect on it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Matt says Germany is a good shout because I think you can bring back 500G. Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
And I'm sure the prices are better over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. 500 grams of pipe tobacco, that'll last you a while.
It's what, 10 tins?
Yeah.
It's about a week for you, isn't it?
yeah.
Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the end of Frankie.
Now, just going off, we're not kind of wrapping up yet, but I just wonder about for next time. So I'm nearly through Series 1 of Sopranos.
Right.
So I'd like to maybe do a bit of a recap next time on that. But I'm really enjoying that series. I'm picking up more this time than I did last time. I'm getting a lot more second time through.
Absolutely. I was thinking about like we could do it as like a little separate series kind of thing when we do the Sopranos recap. And I was thinking there's like there's an episode later on in the series where he's like something. He's come home from a long day of work and he's like, there's no smoked turkey, and he's like, shit, why can't a man have some smoked turkey? We should call it smoked turkey.
Smoked turkey.
Yeah,
let's do it. Yeah, maybe a bit of wild turkey to go down with it.
Oh yeah. Not had the wild turkey in a long time. Anthony, if you're still there, by the way, I did get your comment on the last live stream, and you mentioned like a single barrel version of the Buffalo Trace, which sounded interesting. I really enjoy the Buffalo Trace. I
wonder if Mitchell's can get it.
Yeah. I really enjoy the Buffalo Trace. It is typically one of the cheaper of the bourbons that we can get over here. But for me, it's
a nice drop.
It's lovely, yeah. Really, it's got that kind of caramel.
Yeah. This and Woodford.
Yeah. I love the Woodford. Yeah. And the Bullet as well.
Bullet's good.
Yeah. But it's been a while since I've had the turkey, and I could go for some turkey. The 101.
101,
yeah. They do the 86 proof over here as well, but the 101 I think is really the thing. Matt says, how many tins do you get through a month roughly? It's a good question, because it really depends on how much I'm enjoying that tin, and I might jump from tin to tin.
I do.
Yeah.
I never smoke more than one. Rarely, other than 3Ps, I think I got through like probably half that plug in about a week and a half.
Yeah.
But I bought another one, and I've not gone. I've kind of backed off a little bit now, and I've been trying some others.
I will say, I ran
combined.
Through, yeah.
Did you say what, 10.5?
Yeah, and I will say I ran through the 3Ps quite quickly as well when I was buying it. I would say, like a rule of thumb, depending on how often you smoke, Probably a month, right?
Yeah.
For a tin, maybe.
Yeah.
I think about a month.
Yeah, I'd say that.
George says, as matches 860, rest in peace, memory eternal, stated. Yeah, God bless. Sometimes the stars align and out of the blue, an ultimate smoke. He did a great video on it entitled "The Ultimate Smoke." Yeah, I like matches 860. And I got onto his stuff sort of like after he'd reposed. But he kind of sold me on getting a Bing. So yeah,
I haven't given up on a Bing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's Father's Day coming up.
Right, yeah.
I've got one more space in this rack before I've got to buy another rack, and then that becomes a whole new problem of buying new pipes. Yeah. But just this one, I think, I like a Bing, or I like a Clark, or I like a Sir Douglas.
The Sir Douglas is a nice pipe.
But I did say last time I was really hot on a Clark's.
Yeah, you did.
Your Clark's is just such
it's
a
beautiful
nice,
pipe.
classy little pipe. But I love the Bing as well, so I'm kind of going through a crooner phase at the minute.
Well, yeah, me too actually. And Savinelli's got that little crooner series, so they've got the Bing.
Yeah.
They got the Clark Gable's wasn't he was an actor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the Clark
Rat Pack era.
Yeah,
kind of.
They got the Clark, which is like a mini bent church warden. Which is really, really nice, like a tortoiseshell kind of a stem.
The original Chad, I would say as well.
Yeah. And they've got the Ginger's favourite, which I'm not sure who that's named after.
Oh yeah, Baker.
I'm not sure, but it comes.
He'd probably smoke a different kind of pipe.
Yeah. But it comes in straight and a bent, that one, and that's a lovely pipe too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love both my Bing and my
from the Clark.
From the Clarks, yeah. My Semoir has burned out, so I'm going for the Cajun cake now because it doesn't feel right to end the night without a little bit.
Right. This is still going strong. This.
Anthony says, now you two are talking my language. Wild Turkey 101 is a staple on my shelf. Yeah, it's lovely.
It's a hard hitter. Do you know, it's a hard hitter, but I don't really. All right, make sure you've got a spare day afterwards. just in case.
Absolutely.
You've fallen foul.
It's a hard hitter.
But not a hard supper.
No. Wow, it goes down so nice.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Get your eyesight back in a day.
But what I like about I know that maybe this isn't like an orthodox take, but lowercase o orthodox take.
Yeah.
But I like to feel that alcohol burn.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah, you want a bit of heat down there.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like overpowering or anything, but I do like, and that 101, that higher proof, it has got it.
For sure.
Anthony says, I need to get a tin of the three Ps. Yeah, that's a great smoke. That's a great smoke, man. How are you getting on with the Beast, by the way? Matt says, sorry for the questions. No, don't be sorry, man.
No, not at all.
Is bourbon smoother than whiskey? Because I've had something of drinking whiskey. I had some time off drinking whiskey, and I find it too strong now. Anthony says bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm sure Anthony's more. I'm certain Anthony's more red pilled on this, but bourbon is a particular kind of a whiskey that comes from
mash, isn't it?
Right, I think it's to do with the mash bill. The mash bill has to be at least 51% corn.
Yeah.
And then typically there's more rye as opposed to wheat. But Anthony's the guy to ask about that. Matt says, I don't fully understand this. I watched a video and it just confused me. So, so Anthony says to be called bourbon, it has to be made with at least 51% corn in the mash bill. Yeah.
What I'd say to Matt is get on Anthony's channel.
Absolutely. Check out Anthony's channel, Bourbon Neophyte. Check out the live streams. But to go to your question, Matt, I think that's just a tolerance question.
Yeah. You have to drink your way through that.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like whiskey's quite broad.
Whiskey's very
umbrella term. Do you know what I mean? Like a Lafroig is going to be very different to a bourbon, and a Speyside is going to be different to a Hebridean, or to a Jura. I think it's all about it's I think it's again like with pipe tobacco, and any kind of cigars. It's like it's about picking what you like.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the range is like in Poland. I don't know what you can get over there. But the ones that we've just mentioned, the the Buffalo Trace, the Bullet.
Yeah, they're all good drinkers.
Yeah, the Wild Turkey 101.
Is it Woodford as well? I think it's just such
Woodford,
a nice
excellent.
taste.
I
Bullet
love
is such a nice, sweet, smooth, easy drink.
Yeah. So those would be some ones to check out, and
But I mean, Anthony's
Anthony's the guy.
Yeah.
Anthony's the guy. Bourbon can be made anywhere as long as you follow the rules. It doesn't need to be made in Kentucky. That is actually what I was going to say. I believed it had to be made in Kentucky. I guess not. But a lot of the bourbons that I see, they say Kentucky Straight. It's a Kentucky Straight bourbon. But I guess, so obviously like Jack, everyone knows about Jack. Yeah. That's a Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
Does that count as a bourbon? Is that a bourbon?
I don't know, and they're kind of going through a bit of a PR thing at the minute.
Are they?
Yeah, like a kind of a Bud Light.
Oh, really?
PR thing, I think so.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I'm not quite as up on what they've done to what Bud Light have done, but yeah, I know I've seen a lot of people saying like never again. With
What, on Jack?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't love Jack.
No, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I will drink it if I go to a place and there's not a good bourbon.
You've ruined me. Honestly,
Yeah.
Harry, I can't have anything else now.
I know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've kind of going through some. They've gone through a couple of PR blunders lately, so I've kind of tuned out. The difficulty here is in England, at least, is like if you go into most pubs, like some of the kind of more upmarket bars, yeah, you'll get a couple of decent bourbons. They might have a bit of Maker's Mark, or they might have you might have some Bullet, or maybe even a bit of Woodford, maybe.
Yeah.
But all pubs will have a bottle of Jack Daniels.
All pubs will have the Jack. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like you said, take it or leave it. I will have it if I want a bourbon, and the range isn't good, but certainly not my favourite. Certainly not first pick. Been a while since I've had a nice Scotch though, I will say.
Well, you bought me that Octane
Auchentoshan. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah.
So that's maybe the one for next time.
Anthony, I don't know what you think about Welsh whiskies, but
you had a couple, didn't you, over Christmas? Yeah,
Penderyn,
yeah.
No, I didn't think they were bad
as well. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I did have a Japanese whiskey. Yeah, on my birthday. Dad was buying. It was about £7 for a pour.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I think it was the Hibiki. Suntory Hibiki, I think.
Yeah.
Matt says that they have Jim Beam in Poland, and that's everywhere. Yeah. What is the main flavour difference between whiskey and bourbon? So, like, I think what you're saying is, like, Scotch and bourbon. For me, bourbon, I think because of the more, like, prevalent rye, is that it's got a touch of spice from the rye that I really enjoy. And
see, for me, it's the sweetness.
Yeah, it tends to have a caramel kind of sweetness that is more prevalent in bourbons, I find, than. But like Dion said, Scotch is such a.
There's loads.
A wide.
I mean, I love a Lafroig. I love a Lafroig because of it's so smoky. It's so peaty. It's like smoking a bowl full of Latakia, pure Latakia. It's such a big hit. And when you first bought me that first pouch of Squadron Leader, I'm like, bro, this is just like Lafroig. And that kind of peatiness is very sort of traditional, I think, to the Speyside side, like the east coast of Scotland. Yeah. But Lafroig, I think specifically, is really heavily peated. But that's very different to like I like a Glenlivet. That's a nice drop.
I really enjoy the Highland Parks. Actually.
Highland Park's nice.
Highland Park 12.
Yeah.
Highland Park 10. I had the Highland Park Viking Scars, I want to call it.
I got given a bottle of 15 years. Do you remember that wasn't a bad drop?
Yeah.
Is that a West Coast though? I think Highland Park.
I think Highland Park is Orkney, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
Because they do
kind of its own thing then, really.
Yeah, I guess so. Cause it's definitely up there on like a little island because they do the whole Viking shtick, the whole Viking marketing.
Yeah.
So Anthony says some distilleries are non-producing. They get product from other distilleries and bottle it under whatever name they call the distillery.
Okay.
So a popular bottle is called Smoke Wagon. Didn't know that. Smoke Wagon buys product from MGP in Indiana and age it in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Interesting.
And bottle under the Smoke Wagon brand. Love me some peated Scotch. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I did want to ask about, Anthony, is like how the bourbon stuff came about in relation to the moonshine trade. You know, all those moonshine boys up in the mountains, up in the hills, and how that related to sort of the bourbon production, and if it's the same kind of regions.
Yeah. Anthony says the Highland Park 15 Viking Heart is so good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I think like Highland Park 12 is like, it's the first kind of Scotch that when I kind of like got into Scotches like properly, that was kind of like one that got me into it, and I was recommended it because it was like said to be such like a well balanced, and I think I agree on that.
Yeah.
Also Bunnahabhain.
Bunnahabhain's good.
I love the Bunnahabhain.
Yeah, it's nice. I think that and that bottle of Glenlivet Caribbean Cask.
That was good.
Oh man, that's a great drop. That's still in my hip flask for my fishing trip. Nice easy smoke, nice and sweet. You know, that kind of rum overtones, sugar cane. That's kind of, it's not bourbon, but it's like
it was somewhat,
feels like kind of a fit between the two.
Right, yeah, kind of reminiscent. It had some like notes. Anthony says that's a good topic for when we do our live together. Great topic.
Shout.
Yeah.
Shout.
I mean, that's a good point. Maybe we don't want to like
we're not going
too much right now.
Yeah.
Because we are Bunna 12 is amazing. Haven't had the Bunna 12 yet, but have had the, maybe you can pronounce it, Anthony, but it's like, it comes in the blue bottle. It's called Sturadir or something. Can't pronounce the Gaelic.
Yeah.
But that's the one that I really like.
Kyle got mentioned as well on one of the shows, and that's an amazing drop. That's West Coast, I think.
Right.
That's, I want to say Mull.
All right.
Hebridean, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, we are still trying to find a time when both Anthony and the two of us can do the live stream together, and we're going to go into the bourbon.
Yeah.
We're going to go into the pipes, so that's going to be a good one to watch out for. Anthony says, love the way the sweetness and the peat go together so well. Yeah.
And what is it just about? So just bringing it back to pipes for a second. What is it that is just so right about a whiskey and a pipe?
Yeah.
I've had a beer out and about, and I've took my pipe, kind of enjoyed it, but I can't finish a full one now. I'm getting a bit, not so much that I don't like the taste of it, but like there's just something missing. Like I'm having to drink a pint here to get a buzz on. Is it just that like it's a really big hit? But I don't think it's just that. There's something particularly about the experience of a whiskey or a bourbon with a pipe that just makes it so right. What's the secret?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's a certain kind of magic, definitely. I think the same with a cigar too. A nice cigar. I think, like first and foremost, I love like strong black coffee with tobacco, whether it's pipe, whether it's cigar. But I like to have a glass of bourbon there, just every now and then chase it with, and it's so nice. Yeah, for sure.
But cider's different as well. You know, I like a cider. You know, we've had kind of summer days and like long summer nights. Like get a couple of ciders on the go.
Absolutely. Now the sun's out, especially with a blend that's a little bit brighter. Like, you know, maybe got some like a vapor, or it's got some bright Virginias in there, maybe.
And we've got some good cider producers over here.
Oh, beautiful! Yeah.
All the Herefordshire.
Stuff,
you know, in the sort of Wales and Ireland, or kind of, you know, the west side of England where it gets, you know, really wet and wild.
Yeah,
you know, that wet weather really does the apples the world of good.
Right,
really sweet and dry, really good for the cider.
And while I'm in Normandy, hopefully I'll get some good cider
right
over there.
Yeah,
and hopefully some good.
Well, that's kind of ours as well. It's kind
right,
of like, it's kind of like a county of. It's,
yeah.
It's like England away, isn't it?
Right.
I'm kidding. Susan, don't shoot me.
And hopefully some Calvados as well.
Right.
Because I was really into the Calvados, and it's been a while since I had it.
Man, that Normandy cider and Calvados is great.
It's so good, yeah. The sassy Calvados, so nice.
Yeah.
The distillation process of whiskey blends nicely with tobacco.
Yeah.
Michael joined the chat. Michael Dillman, glad to finally be able to join the live stream. Thank you, brother. Greetings from Tampa, Florida.
Wow,
nice. Been following you guys for a good bit now. Love the format.
May I add to the chat? Yeah.
Visited Florida a long time ago when I was very young. I loved it. I got fond memories of being in Florida. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going to the Everglades.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do that.
Yeah.
We mainly stayed around Disney. We did venture out
Just
a bit.
gator hunting.
Yeah. Come back with a few steaks and some boots.
Right.
Yeah, I'd love to see the Everglades.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah. So yeah, welcome.
Good to have you with us.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the weather like over there? It's 35 centigrade in Arizona and in Las Vegas right now. I hear. Yeah.
And then in terms of the like with the kind of the drinks and the we touched on it a little bit. On maybe one of our early videos, maybe like first or second video, maybe when we were talking about what goes well together. But my palate's changed a bit since then.
Yeah.
I think as well, like it does affect. So I think it was Matt that was saying, or maybe George that was saying about it's the combination of the weather and the circumstances, the people. I think sometimes there's just good combinations that fit really well. But for me, the triumvirate, right? The troika, coffee, whiskey, and pipe.
Absolutely. And to speak to the weather, something about strong Latakia when the sun's out feels off. I think.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Latakia is more like a cold weather smoke.
Winter.
Yeah, so winter smoke. Yeah. Something about a vapor, like that really kind of like funky fermentation, I think pairs well with autumn weather because the note reminds me of like an autumn forest floor.
Yeah. When
the leaves are kind of like decaying a little bit. But I have been enjoying it while the sun's out, I will say, because it's got those bright flavors too. But I'm loving these Red Virginias, the Cornell Red Virginias.
I mean, this is just outstanding.
Yeah.
Again, I come back to like what I thought. It felt like a casing. It smelled like a casing. Tasted like a casing on just from the tin. But inside, man, on the smoke, like it's all the blend.
Yeah.
I'm really getting the tobacco.
I think the touch of Cavendish in there too really sweetens it up.
Yeah,
it's a nice touch.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sam is in the chat. Evening, lads. Henry Weston cider is the go-to. Aldi do £2 for a £7.50 bottle. Did not know that. That's a good call.
We're on it.
Fatal stuff.
So Sam, everybody is the guy that we're trying to drag into our little sessions here. And the last time I saw Sam was at his dad's wedding, and we had a couple of bottles of Henry Westons and a pipe, and it was in the sunshine, just amazing. Great day, nice and sunny, nice bottle. That was 3Ps I was smoking then as well.
Yeah,
and that burley and the cider, nice Romanian Greek food, nice weather, good folks, good Orthodox folks. Yeah, man, that was good.
Excellent. Liam Walker, welcome Liam. Thanks for joining. He says summer Virginia, autumn Vapor, winter Latakia, spring Lakelands. Yeah, you said it, man. You said it. That's a good lineup. I think I agree with that. Absolutely.
The daffodils, in it.
Yeah, all those floral scents that are in the air. Absolutely. Yeah. Michael says in Florida, 92 Fahrenheit, 33 centigrade here, and humid. I bet. Just got back from a 2-week Euro trip and stayed 3 days in London. Couldn't help but wish I had this time to be able to share a bowl and jam with you. Yeah, that would have been cool, man.
Next time.
Yeah, next time, man. So where did you visit in on the trip apart from the UK?
And again, I mean, I'm working in London for maybe 2 or 3 times a month. So if guys are over, fancy a bit of an IRL, give us a shout, drop a comment in, and we'll go and get a pub and a smoke.
Absolutely, and I think that we've been saying when the maybe like when the when the following builds a bit, we get a few more subscribers and that.
Yeah.
Some meetups would be a good call because I think that's super important. You know, like just making connections, finding like-minded men to hang out with, have a smoke with.
Yeah.
Because like now we've been doing it a while. Like we recognise the names. When you guys join in and remember the kind of things that you told us and you talked about, and it feels like we're getting to know people.
And, for sure.
And I know you guys are like in a lot of different places, like France and Poland and over in the States, but there's a few guys from from the UK too, and it'd be. Johnny's joined the chat. Come on, boys, handsome English dogs. Thanks, brother. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, God bless. Yeah, but cool of you two to stop by. Thank you. Michael says he went to London, second visit, Prague, Berlin, and Munich.
Prague's amazing. Love Prague.
Never been to Prague.
The old town, man. It's just spires.
Yeah.
Just amazing architecture, lovely place, cheap drinks, man.
Yeah.
I was getting like good quality vodkas and absinthe and all
Really?
sorts. Yeah, out and about. There was a little bar that we went to. It's run by an American guy and his wife, Czech wife, boozed, and it's before the passport bro thing was a thing.
Right.
But and it was a place called Red Hot and Blues. So it was a jazz bar,
Nice.
live jazz,
Yeah.
amazing food, good beers as well, man. Their brewery, like,
Oh, well,
processes
yeah, they're
is
known
like
for it, aren't they? Yeah.
top drawer, like the real Budweiser, right? The real Budvar. And now you don't have to worry about like the PR stuff with Czech Budvar either. And it was just, man, it's just amazing. Just like a great night. Went with my family. So the first time we went, it was in October, and it was still reasonably warmish. It was kind of comparable weather to what we get in the UK. We went back in February, and we went with similar kind of clothing, and it was like -15.
Oh.
And it was so cold. My brother basically just put on every item of clothing that he had in his suitcase. We were absolutely Baltic. We were nithered. But it's a great place. Lovely, lovely city.
I've not done a lot of Eastern Europe. I've been to Latvia quite a lot. I don't know whether you consider Poland Eastern Europe or Central. Yeah, but I've been to Poland.
Yeah, Western Slavs, but definitely Eastern Europe.
Yeah. But I'd like to see more.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed Latvia. A lot of cool Orthodox churches.
Yeah.
Beautiful forests and lakes. Yeah, I would go back.
Maybe do an Eastern Europe trip.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Cigars, pipes, and booze.
Absolutely. Right, man. We've got anything else to say, or we think about
I
wrapping
think
it
we're
up?
good. Just a bit of a tip on next time. So we'll by all means, drop some comments in the chat. Stuff that you want us to take a look at. As always, we might have our haul. We'll see. If not, it'll be the next one. We'll definitely take a look for the next video. I think I'd like to do another one on tool maintenance.
Okay.
On lighters and tampers and that kind of stuff, and looking after things.
Well, George mentioned that video on Zippo maintenance.
Yeah.
And that's a lot more your wheelhouse than mine.
Yeah.
So that's something we could do.
Yeah, could do. Yeah, let's do that. And then we've got a bit more on Frankie. I would also maybe like to finish off series 1, Sopranos, go for season 1 and do a bit of a roundup.
Yeah. Are we looking at next week?
Be good.
Yeah, the weekend, that'll be the 27th, Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm not busy, if you're not busy.
Do it.
Yeah. So we'll say the 27th, hopefully.
Yeah.
If
we'll put a post out anyway when we confirm. But
I didn't for this one, actually. I didn't for this one, but we will put a post out for the next one. Anthony says, unfortunately, I'm off to work shortly. Great chatting with everyone. I will email you some dates for a stream on a Saturday so everyone can join.
Amazing.
Yeah, Saturday would be a good one, definitely.
Yeah.
That's a little bit better for everyone. Guys in the States and everywhere, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, take care, brother, and thank you for joining. It's been a pleasure as always. Love to have you in. George says Zippo maintenance. Yes, we will do the Zippo maintenance thing, definitely. But yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. So unless anything comes up, the next one will be the 27th, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
What time will it be? George says it will be about 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It will be 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
GMT. Yeah. So yeah.
So watch out for the post. We'll drop that.
Yeah, we'll drop a post. Like you said, hopefully the haul will be in. It might be a bit ambitious, but but hopefully it'll be in. That'll be amazing if it is.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll
sort it.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for joining again. It's been a banger. Absolutely loved it. God bless everyone.
God bless.